Life Audio.
Hello. Thank you for listening to Your Daily Bible Verse, the podcast that examines one verse each day to learn more about God and His will for our lives. I'm your host, Kyle Norman. After a brief message from one of our sponsors, we will listen to today's verse. Today's verse can be found in the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verse 5. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. In the late 1800s, a small insect known as the phylloxera infested most of the grapevines in Europe and France. This was a huge problem. It almost destroyed the wine industry of the day. For example, France, which was probably the leading wine producer at that time, lost about 70% of its wine production. These tiny insects, they would burrow their way into the grapevine and make production untenable. Grapes wouldn't grow, or if they did, they were rotten on the inside. This was a huge problem because what every grape grower or wine producer, whether professional or amateur, knows is that the most important element in making wine is the vine. It's the vine that contains the life of the grape. It is the vine that carries the nutrients. It is the vine that provides what is needed so that the branch can produce the fruit. In the Gospel of John, Jesus takes up this image of a vine and branch and grapes, and he applies it to our spiritual lives. I am the vine, and you are the branches, he says. If anyone were to remain in me, they will bear much fruit. Jesus calls us to remain rooted, grafted, connected to him. Like a vine to a branch, Jesus brings us life and health and fruit-bearing. Now, we can talk about this fruit in many different ways. Some people talk about the fruit of the Christian life as the ministry activities that we take up. Others speak of the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. But notice, Jesus allows the fruit here to remain completely undefined. He doesn't tell the disciples what fruit they will produce. Why? Well, because the fruit of our lives is not what matters most, nor is it what we are called to focus on. Make no mistake, we do not define the fruit. The fruit isn't based on the branch whatsoever. It is reflective of the vine. See, in a vineyard, the branch has only one job, and it isn't to produce the fruit. No. Jesus says no branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. The branch has one job, and it is to remain connected to the vine. Everything else flows out of the influence of the vine to the branch. And so, Jesus says, apart from me, you can do nothing. Apart from our connection to Jesus, our spiritual lives, they lack health, they lack vitality, they lack the soul-deep satisfaction that Jesus longs for us. Because all of those things, they don't come from ourselves. They flow from His Spirit moving in us and through us. Apart from me, apart from our connection to Jesus, you can do nothing, he says. Now, does that seem like an overstatement? It might be easy to think that Jesus is exaggerating a little bit here. Of course I can do things without Jesus. In fact, many people who are not Christians, well, they do all sorts of things, and they are kind and polite, generous and loving. Is it really true that we cannot live our spiritual lives in any way without Him? Well, of course, Jesus isn't just talking about being kind and polite, generous and loving. Jesus isn't talking about anything that we can muscle our way into, because if our Christian life was just about the actions that we create ourselves, then this would be like putting the cart before the horse, or the branches before the vine. Christ's call to the disciples, Christ's call to us, is to allow the life of Jesus to flow in us and through us, and to allow Jesus to produce in us his qualities. And that can't happen unless we are connected to him. In our spiritual lives, we don't focus on what we can do and how well we can do it. What we focus on is connecting ourselves to the vine, because it is that connection which is the most important thing. In a vineyard, there are always branches near the vine, but disconnected from it, and they lie lifeless on the ground. It's not enough just to be near Jesus, or to think about him from time to time, or even just to look adoringly at him. It's not enough just to acknowledge him and then go about our day however we want to do that. We have to be intertwined with him. We have to be connected. Our lives has to be rooted in his life. Because the one job for all the branches is but to receive the nourishment of the vine. It's what the branch does. It's what the branch is created for. Do you want to experience the nourishing presence of Jesus, the true vine? Not as a truth to ponder, not as something just to think about, but as something to be embraced by, to feel and to reside in as a reality for your life. Do you want to abide in him? Well, if so, then let him abide in you. Welcome the Spirit of Jesus into your life. Drop your defenses and let his life and love flow within you. Because Jesus is the true vine. He's the good vine. And he's the vine that brings life to our souls.